Hello, hello, everybody. We are live and we have with us today a very special guest. And as I promised, we are going to talk today to Deana Jean. We'll give some people some time to come in here, but Deana is our collab queen, and she's going to tell you a little bit more about that. I'm not going to steal her thunder, but Deana, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell the folks a little bit about you and what's so special about collaboration? So give us the lowdown.
Yes. Well, hey y'all. Hey, for those of you who may not know me, my name is Deana Jean. They call me your collab queen because experts come to me when they want to enhance their visibility, their impact, and their revenue. But the experts that I work with, they actually want to do it a little differently. They want to do that through collaboration. They want to do that through expanding their audience by connecting with others who have similar audiences. They want to do that by seeking out corporate sponsorships. They want to do that by creating offers and going live with other experts. And that's work that we do inside of our Success Tribe Collab Circle. It's work that we love to do. And collaboration really is the absolute best way, in my opinion, to grow your business with less hustle and a little bit more flow. So that's what I'll say about that.
Okay, well, tell us a little bit more about what collaboration entails because some people think about it differently. Like, well,
Yeah.
what does a collaboration actually mean and how can it actually help us?
Absolutely. That's such a great question, Myrna. And I think that one of the reason that a lot of people oftentimes may shy away from collaboration is because we all have different definitions of what it is. So when we are thinking about collaboration in the Success Tribe, we are thinking about opportunities to combine forces with folks where each person gets to use their genius zone, the thing that they do really well, in order to create a mutually beneficial situation. So sometimes people say, well, it can't be a collaboration unless we are dividing money from the onset. And I beg to differ with that. I think that you can have collaborative relationships that lead up to the part where you guys are splitting money through some type of joint venture. But I also consider collaborations to be when you create strong referral partnerships, strategic referral partnerships, where you are consistently referring business to somebody else. To me, that's a strong collaboration because that is a way that you're able to get in front of more warm clients without you having to be the person that knows all the people. Another example is what we're doing right now, right? You and I serve similar types of audiences differently. So the collaboration that we're doing is I'm coming to your audience, I'm adding value, providing some insight and some strategies that can be helpful to them. The value to you is that it enhances the value within your community. The value to me is that I now get to get in front of a warm audience of people that might not have seen me before and potentially may eventually invest in my services.
Absolutely. So you talked a little bit about using your genius, right, to come together and essentially do a collaboration. Tell us a little bit more about that because I think a lot of people may not necessarily understand what that zone of genius is and how to leverage that into a collaboration.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I have to be honest, Myrna, sometimes I think we overcomplicate it. We think usually so we overcomplicate it because we always think that our genius zone or the thing that's going to make us a lot of money oftentimes has to be something that's difficult, especially many of us that have had corporate careers, and we have subscribed to the adage that you work harder, and that allows you to be able to get to where you want to go. You got to be smarter, you got to be faster, right? But your genius zone really and truly is the thing that you innately do so incredibly well, and also that you love to do. It has to be both. It has to be something that you do innately and that you love to do. So for me, I never considered for a long time that the art of connection was my genius zone. Why? Because I thought that everyone knew how to connect. I was like, everyone does this. When I would introduce people and then they would go in and they would do business together, everyone was like, oh my God, it's so amazing how you connect people. And to me, it was just like breathing, right? And it's something that I enjoyed doing. And when I was able to find a way to monetize it, that's when I realized that your genius zone really should be the thing that is like breathing to you, that you enjoy doing, that you probably would do without getting paid for, but that you can actually charge a premium for because it's solving a very urgent problem for folks. When I think about how you leverage that genius zone in a collaboration, we use a strategy and we have a framework called golds, gifts, and gaps that we use. This is basically the framework that, by our definition, you can use anytime you're in a situation and you're evaluating a collaboration. First thing you want to do is be clear on your goal, right? What do you want to accomplish? Second thing you want to do is be clear on your gift, the thing that you do really well. And then the last thing is think about, in order to accomplish your goal, what gaps do you still have? What are the things that either you don't do well, that you don't know how to do, that you don't want to do? And that's how you find your collaboration partner. In this instance, your gift, you leverage your gift as the currency in the collaboration, right? So again, I have the gift of connection, I have a gift of speaking. So I leverage that gift in order to get in front of audiences that need my gift. And I make sure that when I'm doing that, that I'm matching up with people who have something that I need as well, so that it really is mutually beneficial.
Wow, that's an interesting framework because having the ability to use a gift and to use your gap and have the connection happen because you're kind of helping each other by
Yeah.
intertwining your zone of genius with what somebody else may find out as a gap. So that is definitely a great framework when it comes to connecting.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
absolutely. It's really easy too, because a lot of times our gaps are the things that typically would hold us back. If you look at people, you say, "All right, well, I'm not going to start my business because I every business that I see online, they're really active on social media, and I'm not a social media person." And so for some people, they would say, "All right, well, because I'm not a social media person, that means I can't accomplish this goal of starting a business." But in our framework, the person says, "You know what? I have a gift for speaking. And you know what? I have a gap of social media. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on LinkedIn, I'm going to go on Facebook, and I'm going to look and see who has a gift for social media and needs my gift of speaking. And then we're going to make sure that we can be able to feed each other and to do great things together that allow each of us to go further."
that's awesome. So you talked about, or the title of our talk tonight is Three C's, your
Yeah.
simple business growth formula. So tell us a little bit about that because in the
Yes.
financial empowerment community, we're all about financially empowering, the members of the community, making sure that we have the tools. It's a group of women only, but we are making sure that we have the tools to financially empower ourselves. So give us the secrets. What's that simple business growth formula?
Absolutely. So this is honestly one of those things where I said sometimes it's too simple, right? It's oversimplified. And this is a formula that I came up with because I, up until the point where I started my business, was not super active on social media, especially when it came to talking about like the work that I did or my business. And when I decided that I was going to start my business and I realized the impact that I could have and the people that I could reach globally, right? And help and the people that I could connect with through social media, I started to get into it. But then what I started to realize is that I started to get really overwhelmed. If anyone here has ever been in a position where you start to get on social media, you start to post, and then you start going down the rabbit hole, right? You start seeing all the things that other people are posting, you're posting on the threads, and then sometimes you even start to get frustrated with the way that your social media ecosystem is created. You say, "You know what? I don't even want to pursue this anymore." What we're going to talk about really briefly is the three C's. If you're looking to grow your business, specifically looking to be able to do that and connecting with people on social, since we're on social right now, we're going to talk about the only three people that you need to connect with. These are the three types of people that you would want to seek out in order to have the goals, gifts, and gaps conversation, right? So we take this big fun of all the people in the cyber world, and we're going to narrow it down to three different types of people. The first type of person that you want to be looking for to have your goals, gifts, and gaps conversation is you want to be looking for champions. Your champions are going to be the people who are on your timeline, are engaging with the things that you are doing, are constantly liking, loving, right? Some of them may be doing a little bit of lurking, right? Around what it is that you're doing. And your champions are going to be people who have credibility and influence with your ideal client. Credibility and influence. Once you identify these people who love what you do and have credibility and influence with your ideal client, that is the first type of person that you want to be making sure is in your social media ecosystem. You want to
So
make sure.
let's say I got my sister, right?
Mhm.
And she's like cheering me on. She's a champion. She's liking my stuff, commenting, but she doesn't necessarily have that credibility and influence with my ideal client. So would she be considered a champion or not?
So I actually, in this instance, would not, based on what we're talking about right now, consider your sister to be a champion. I consider her to be a cheerleader because cheerleaders they have their own space. That's the fourth C, right? They're cheerleaders. They're gonna make sure that the algorithm keeps things moving along for you. And even with an instance like your sister, you still want to make sure that somebody like her knows clearly about your ideal client and knows what you do. Because when she sees that somewhere out in the world, you want to make sure that she can refer you over to that person, right? So your champion is the first type of person you want to make sure that you keep it in your ecosystem because they're going to say your name in rooms where you're not present, and they're going to help you build credibility with your ideal client.
Mm-hmm.
Second type of person that you want to be looking out for are people who would be potential collaborators for you. These are people who, if you're an entrepreneur, a lot of times you can look at people who may serve your ideal client before you serve them, after you serve them, or during the time that you're serving them. So, because I focus on collaboration as a collaboration strategist, there are two things that people need to have before they can work closely with me. The first is that they have to have a clear signature offer, an offer that they have sold, that they know gets transformation that people like and they want. Second thing is that they have to be comfortable with selling. Because when we build collaborations, we're putting you in the spaces so that now when you sell, you're in front of warm audiences. But if you're afraid to sell and close the deal, then the collaborations that we create won't be helpful to you. So, because of that, I collaborate with a lot of sales coaches and business coaches who focus on helping people create signature offers. Why? Because if you just help somebody come up with this amazing signature offer, the first thing that you want to do is you want to put them in an environment and connect them with someone who can connect them with other people that are going to get that signature offer out there. If you have somebody that is killing their sales framework and they have it down, you want to put them in an environment where they can practice that framework as much as possible. So I very often get those folks who refer their folks over to me. So those are your collaborators. Look for people who work with your ideal client before, during, and after. And then finally, the third type of person that you want in your ecosystem for growing business, remember, these are all things that are going to get you in front of more warm clients, is your actual clients. You want your ideal clients to be all over your ecosystem, your social media timeline, in the networking events that you're doing, whatever it may be. You want to make sure that they're present. Why? Because if they really and truly are your dream and their ideal clients, then they're going to be connected to other people who potentially could be your dream or ideal clients as well. Because what do we know? Birds of a feather, they flock together, right? So by focusing on really and truly making sure that you are connecting to, advocating for, posting wins about your current clients, that is a way to get in front of more warm clients who fit that same avatar. So the three C's. First, you want to look for champions, people who will be able to cheer you on. And based on them cheering you on, your ideal clients will see that and be like, hey, this is a person that I respect and they're cheering this person on. I want to get in their environment. Your collaborators, these are people that have already invested, had these your ideal clients invest in them, and now they want to be able to make a warm referral to you. There, the ideal client is saying, of course, I would go and go to Myrna's masterclass. Deana recommended it, and I work with Deana. That's a no-brainer, right? And then the last one is really leaning into connecting with and spotlighting the successes of your current ideal clients. Those are three different ways that if you just do those three things every day on social media, just connect with these three different types of people, your business will grow because you will start to get in front of more and more and more warm clients. Just focus on those three.
That makes a lot of sense. You were right. It sounds simple in essence, but it's really putting all the three pieces together that potentially takes your business to the next level.
Yeah.
Because you can have those champions, but if they don't have an understanding of your ideal client, right, then that's not really going to be very helpful.
That's
They're
right.
not saying your names in the rooms where they need to say them. The collaborators, you need to have an offer, so you need to have a certain level of expertise and track record, right? Because if I'm here and I'm saying, hey, Deanna, I got this master class or I got this investing group coach program, but I've never sold it, how's Deanna going to be able to,
That's
say
right.
anything and be that collaborator that can get, say my name in those rooms where I'm not in. And
Mm-hmm.
then lastly, it's the clients. So the clients, I think, are the biggest testimony to, what you do in your business as an entrepreneur, because they're the ones who are going to, shout out and say, hey, I've gotten these transformation, these results, and they're going to come across as, your biggest advocates.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. They're the walking billboards of the work that you do, without you having to say it, right?
Right. And that's exactly, what we want. So then how do you go about identifying, right? I mean, clients are easy, check, but how do you go about and champions, I think would be easier. It's more, how do you identify those collaborators and the best people that you can potentially work with?
Yeah. Well, remember, the first key, like you said, is identifying the collaborators, because all of this is also predicated on you identifying these people and then getting on a call, having a vibe check. We have a whole formula and a whole framework that we take people through inside of the collab circle when they found their ideal collaborators or who might be their ideal collaborators. That helps them to further vet folks. What I would say is a really good, the staple of all of this, if I had to give one tip on how to find the right person, is do the work of getting crystal clear on who your ideal client is, because your ideal client is the foundation of all of it. Your ideal client is the foundation of it because, again, remember, champions are people that have credibility and influence with your ideal client. If you get your ideal client wrong and you are reaching out to people who have influence and credibility with this avatar, and then you're wondering why you're not getting sales, or you're wondering why you're getting bad fit sales, it's not because the champion was the wrong person. It's because you didn't clearly identify who your ideal client was, so you weren't looking for the right people. Same with collaborators. Remember, they're who work with your ideal client before, during, and after. So if you're not clear on who the ideal client is and you seek out collaborators that are working with an avatar before, during, and after, again, it's not that they're a bad collaborator. It's that you weren't clear on the expectation, on the ingredients that you needed. And similarly, if you are working with someone and they're not your ideal client, because we all do it, right? We all have clients that aren't our ideal clients. We have a wide, range of clients. When you're working with somebody and they're not your ideal client, and you're shouting them out and you're talking about the wins that they got, and then you start to attract more of them and you're still miserable, it's not their fault. Because remember, it's all under the avatar, the ideal client. So the one piece of advice that I would give above all is be super clear on who your ideal client is before you pursue any type of collaboration, because that's going to be the lifeblood and the success of it when you're looking at your simple business growth formula.
Wow, that is definitely good insight. Knowing who your ideal client is, because I've seen collaborations that flop because, one person may bring more to the table than the other because of that lack of synergy when it comes to the ideal client.
Yeah, yeah. And all collaborations aren't, you're not going to knock them all out of the park. I do more collaborations than most folks, right? So because of that, and the law of averages, I probably have more flops than most folks too, right? But I also, the ones that work really well. We get extraordinary results from them, right? So it's something that you have to get into, that you have to do, dip your toe into it. And if you are looking for a place in a space to be able to find champions, collaborators, and clients, then come and join us in the Success Tribe. Come and check it out. We have a free guest pass for everybody who's watching this. And we would love to see you in one of our networking sessions coming up. We have a number that you can text. that you can just go ahead and you'll get your networking pass there. And you just have to text 3G to that number. That's the 718 number. It's 718 550 8706. So when you text that number and then you text 3G to that number, and then you put VIP in for a guest pass, and you'll be able to grab a guest pass to join us for networking.
Yes, you guys, I am actually a member of the Intentional Success Tribe, and
Right.
it is a great forum to actually meet a lot of people, people who serve your ideal clients, like-minded individuals. It's like no type of networking event you've ever been
Different.
to. And
Different.
I can vouch for it. If I'm vouching for it, then it's the real thing because you've gone to other networking events and you're sitting there and you feel like you don't necessarily mesh with the people, or like people have their own interests at heart. Like
Right.
they just
Right.
come because, oh, I want to, get another contact and add to my Rolodex, or I want to get a potential client. But in the Intentional Success Tribe, when we go through the GG goals, gifts, and gaps sessions, you actually get to know the people. You have
Right.
smaller breakout sessions where you can actually discuss, what your gaps are and connect with people that can help you fill those gaps. So
That's
if
right.
I'm telling you Deanna's Intentional Success Tribe is a real thing, hop on that free pass, people.
I appreciate that. And yeah, it's just it's a vibe, and I got to tell you, it's what it is because of folks like you and the people, our members, who are just so intentional about wanting to create a truly collaborative space. So I get excited every time I go.
Awesome. So outside of texting the to the group to get the network pass, how can people get in touch with you, Deanna?
So we're here on Facebook, I believe. So feel free to definitely connect with me here on Facebook. I am Deana Jean on the Facebook platform. I'm also Deana Jean, DeanaJean, on LinkedIn as well. Would love to see you there. And we have a free sneak peek into our paid collab circle here on Facebook. If you go to thesuccesstribe.com, then you'll be able to get into the free Facebook group and you can see who some of our members are. We have our expert series next week, which is going to be amazing. So it's going to be a really good time.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Deanna, for
Thank
coming on
you.
and really sharing your expertise with us and sharing the good tips that are going to give us a simple business growth formula. We really appreciate your time with us tonight.
I appreciate it as well. Thank you, Myrna, and thank you to everyone who's watching either live on the replay. And I would love to hear from you. Let's definitely connect.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Have a good one.